Yo, peace. Ego, God, and death. See, the thing with ego is most people think they have to kill their ego or they have too big of an ego. See, the problem with this is your ego is your sense of self. There is not a problem with your sense of self. The problem is the interference with your sense of self. What I mean by that is, as a child, you had a sense of self. You had an ego. Before you knew what religion was, before you knew how to speak and all that, you had a sense of self. That's why you were able to cry when you were hungry, when you needed your diaper change and all that. So you had a sense of self. You knew who and what you were. That's what you evolved to. Like babies don't walk and shit because they see us doing it. It's just natural evolution. They don't start talking because they hear us talking. Just like it's just a natural way of life. Like this is just what happens anyway. You get what I'm saying? Now, of course, the language will differ depending on what language it is, but in terms of what's sparking the child to express itself comes from within, not what they're observing. It's just self creation. See, we tend to identify with things based on their function and not their meaning. For example, a door. We all know what a door is or the function it serves, but what is the meaning of a door? You can easily say a door is a portal to a different reality because every time you go through a door, you go into a different reality, whether it's from your kitchen to your living room, the inside of your house to the outside of your house, outside to school, work, whatever. Every time you enter through doors, you enter to a different reality. So we literally spend all day, whether you're in a house or whatever you're doing, we spend a lot of time going in and out of realities. Astral traveling, as above, so below. We travel through a lot of doors. So that's an easy way to kind of slow things down, because we tend to go through our day without really being that conscious of everything. Just every time you enter into a new reality, just say a prayer or chant a mantra. Just do something to acknowledge that you're about to enter into a new dimension. And when you get into the habit of doing that, you will even start to do it in your dreams. And when you start to do it in your dreams, you may just snap out of it like, wait a minute, this is a dream, because you actually slow down and take a look around and just pause for a minute and not allow, just the currents of whatever be pulling you in your dreams, you kind of stop it and you gain control for a minute and see where it takes you from there. So basically, the ego is who you are. It's like your light and darkness. For example, when you look at the sun can be said it's like a single point of light and it expands. Your ego is not supposed to lessen, it's supposed to expand. Just like if you cut all the lights off in complete darkness, you don't know where you are. But when you turn on the flashlight, you at least have some sense of where you are, even though it's like a little thin point of light. So the goal would be to expand your flashlight to the point where, like you flick on the light and now you see everything in a room. And you see the difference between having a flashlight and, turn the light switch on. It's a huge difference. As opposed to killing your ego and having no guidance and, feeling like you're going to resurrect as this new person without an ego. Like that doesn't even make sense. Expand the ego, don't kill it. Expand your sense of self instead of the other way around. You get what I'm saying? And the way to do that is to lessen the interference, as I said. Meaning, most of our interferences come from food, water, clothes, and our environment. What I mean by that is, most of the time when we're eating, it's either too much salt, too much sugar, or a combination of both. And we may be drinking low quality water. We may, be in environments that don't suit spiritual growth, etc., etc., etc. All these things play a part. Like if you go to sleep mad, you probably either will have a nightmare or you won't remember your dreams, as opposed to you went to sleep with an intention to do spiritual work. You get what I'm saying? We have to treat both of our realities with respect. Don't take the bullshit into the spirit realm that you experience here, and vice versa. Keep those lives separate. Just like, don't mix business with pleasure. Don't mix the reality to the point where you don't know which is which. Make sure you have a sense of self. Make sure your ego is expanded big enough so you can tell the difference. You get what I'm saying? Now we move on to God, because everybody is searching for God. God, you find God when you expand your ego, not lessen it. You get what I'm saying? Because God can be like the equivalent to being in a labyrinth. You going through a maze. Well, is he over here? Is she over there? You know what I mean? You going through this maze, this pattern. And as you know, it's easy to get lost in a labyrinth. You get what I'm saying? So it represents detoxification. That's the God is associated with purity. So when you're doing spiritual work, that's why it's best to do it with an empty stomach when other people are not awake, like 3 a.m. or whatever. You do spiritual work when you have the least interference. Because when you have the least interference, your work becomes more powerful. It's just like you're trying to cast a spell and you have somebody on the outside of the circle trying to have a conversation with you. It's going to be a hell of a lot easier if you don't have a person right there talking to you as if you're not trying to do magical work. You get what I'm saying? So the thing with God, I'm not even saying that God exists outside of us or even within us. I feel like when you expand your ego, you realize that it's all God. Like everything is God. It's not just a particular person or a particular thing. Like life as a whole is spiritual, as we all should know. So if everything is spiritual, there is no unspiritual act. If there is no unspiritual act, then everything is godly. Everything from the craziest game beggar to the most religious person that you ever could see. One is not better than the other. It just is what it is. See, a lot of people don't realize whatever that you seek to manifest, whatever you seek to create, is going to manifest the opposite as well, because that's just the reality we're in. There's no way you about to become so-called famous or wealthy and you don't have people that's going to want to sue you. You get what I'm saying? Like, it just comes with the territory. This is why it's just better to accept both realities than to try to avoid the bullshit. Like, when you become spiritual, it's not to avoid religious people. It's really to seek to understand them, because they're not going anywhere. Like, just walking around hating religious people ain't making shit easier for nobody. So the least you can do is just understand at least the material they're reading, just to have an understanding of it so you can be at peace with it. Like, okay, I understand the purpose it serves. I'm at peace with it. I'm not fighting against religion, or you're not fighting against a particular way of life. You just know what works for you and what doesn't. You get what I'm saying? Because you know what I mean? Like, we can go our whole lives not agreeing with a particular idea, but that doesn't make it go away. So instead of wasting time with it, you just understand it and realize, yo, it's just a part of life like everything else is a part of life. And when you accept it, you can clear up all that interference. Because now we go into imagination or memory building. When you build up your memory, you build up your imagination. You can only imagine what you see, what you know. You get what I'm saying? And you use what you know to discover what you don't know. You expand your mind or your memory by learning new things. For example, let's just say every day you make a conscious effort to learn a new song, the lyrics to a new song, whatever. And you do that every day. Eventually, you probably will want to write your own music. So memorizing other people's songs will promote you to create your own music. Now you're memorizing your own lyrics, your own songs, and sharing those with people, whatever the case may be. Just living a lifestyle of a spiritual person, like just committing new things to memory every day. And when you commit new things to memory every day, you expand your reality. So this is the thing. Let's just say you're in Los Angeles and you want to go to New York. What most people do is they start looking at tickets, hotel prices, who they're going to stay with, who they're going to meet up with. You know what I mean? They try to plan the whole thing. But the very first thing before you do anything is to just get a feeling of how it is to be there. Before you start filling in the details, like, yo, how does it feel to be in New York? If you can get a sense of how it feels to be there, and you take that into the dream world, you go to sleep as if you're in New York, and you wake up as if you're in New York. You just become all about New York, mentally. You get what I'm saying? Without filling in no details. Eventually, of course, you're going to have dreams about New York. You're going to have thoughts about New York. Like, you will start to incorporate more things about New York into your reality until eventually you end up there. That's how manifestation works. It all starts with you getting a feel of how it is to be somewhere, or how does it feel to do a particular thing, to experience a particular experience. You get what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is that you seek, you have to know how it feels to already have it. Because if you're not able to generate how it feels to already have it, there is nothing to connect you with whatever it is that you desire. You can't desire a relationship if you don't know how it feels to be in a relationship. Because that's how people get attached to the physical. They get so involved into things and they don't want to lose it. They clench on too hard and they end up getting hurt. But when you realize it's you, this is coming from within you, this is your desire, this is your experience, this is your reality. And you can recreate the feeling whenever you choose. So it ain't even really about the other person. It's about how you feel. It's about your own emotions, your own thoughts. You get what I'm saying? And you're projecting it outwardly, and they are reflecting it. People, places, and things just reflect your own thoughts, your own emotions, your own experiences. You get what I'm saying? This is what self-creation is. A reflection of who and what you are. The good, the bad, and the ugly, as I've spoken about before. Holistically. This is the point of reality. The point of reality is not to make things easier, but just to understand yourself. Like, well, damn, why do I attract particular people? Why do I, you know what I mean? Like, why do you tend to slack on certain things and not other things? Why do you like this and not that? Like, beyond the personality, beyond who you think the body is. Like, your personality is not your body. Your personality is your consciousness. You get what I'm saying? And the last thing is death, which is basically developing your astral sight. See, when you're astral traveling, when you're lucid dreaming, most of the time we can't really remember it because it requires a particular sight. and I call it astral sight. You develop your astral sight, as I said before, by just developing your memory and getting into your feelings. You know, clearing out all the interference of the ego. You get what I'm saying? Easy way to do it is symbols. Whatever your favorite symbol is, program yourself to see that symbol in your dreams and to wake up. Not wake up out the dream, but to, realize that you're dreaming. So if your favorite symbol is the all-seeing eye, whenever, you make sure when you lay down to rest, you're like, yo, you make the intention to see this all-seeing eye. And when you notice the all-seeing eye, you go straight into a lucid dream. And a lucid dream can turn into an astral travel. You get what I'm saying? So symbols can trigger certain things because they all have their own meaning. You get what I'm saying? Astral traveling or astral sight or astral projection can be symbolized by the all-seeing eye, because if you just lay down in your bed and you just imagine your consciousness bouncing between the corners, for example, like you will be as if you're looking down to your body from the ceiling, and you're just kind of going around in a square or circle or however your room is shaped, and you're just going around from the ceiling to the floor to the wall to the door. Like you're just literally moving your consciousness around and not centralizing it within your body. Eventually you will realize, like, oh shit, you will actually be looking down at yourself. You get what I'm saying? It may not even be a break. You may suddenly go from your body into wherever your consciousness is. This is basically the same way dreams work. Whatever your consciousness was on at the time, you project into that reality. So if your consciousness is in astral traveling, astral projection, that's what you will project to. You get what I'm saying? So you have these symbols that you can notice in your dreams, and you wake up, then you start to do your spiritual work. See, it's all about spiritual development. Because when you go into your own mind, when you sleep, remember, sleep is a cousin of death. So it's whether you're sleeping or you're dead. It's the same thing. You go within your own mind, and based on your astral sight, that's going to determine how your death will be. Like, you just realize, well, shit, death is basically just like a astral projection, and I go into my own mind. That's a whole different situation. And I don't know if I'm going to heaven or hell. I don't know what's going to happen, and you're just lost for words. There's some people that go their whole life not knowing where they're going, how they did in life, and that's, most people die in misery thinking like that. You don't know what's going to happen. So when you at least have an idea of what's going to happen, you embrace death. And there's no need to fear it. There's no need to fear anything. You just clear out the interference. So that's what it is. Ego, God, death, clearing out the interference, expanding the ego, not killing it, expanding your sense of self instead of decreasing your sense of self, finding God by expanding your imagination. You know what I mean? Portals, doors, anything. You can see a symbolic or a metaphorical meaning in anything. Expanding your reality and expanding your astral sight. So that's just a quick little, I guess this shit wasn't quick. This is 19 minutes, but fuck it. Just keep it pushing. Peace. Hotep.